It's education time. And bottom line, Greg, I'm sick and tired of these people. Again, listen to folk who are preying on their emotions, who are doing the same thing to y'all that Trump's doing. Pushing your racial buttons, and you end up attacking black people who are actually fighting for you. Y'all can go ahead and comment before I go to break. Go ahead, Greg, Reese, Mustafa.
I just co-sign, brother. Reading is fundamental. That's what they said to us when we were growing up. And my daddy was like your daddy. My daddy worked that shift at the VA hospital, come home, read that paper, front to back, back to front. And a lot of y'all understand that because you got people like that in your families. We all understand why everybody is feeling that way. It's out of our pain. Our people have been persecuted for centuries. So this isn't an attack on that pain. It's a reminder, as John Henry Clark used to say, don't just get mad, get smart. We can do this, but we're going to have to do it. Everything. What do they feel Randolph say? I mean, about whatever you get at that table, you have to take, and then you got to keep it. This is a war. It's been a war since they put for first person who looked like you put their hands on you on the coast of Africa, and black people sold black people into slavery. Let's get rid of that too. Guess what? No supply, no demand, no supply. It wouldn't have been no fights over there if it hadn't been a boat sitting up there with some people who are open enemies, and now their children's children are the ones shooting you in the face in the streets and trying to pass legislation to keep you out. And if you don't think calling and protesting and doing all this stuff isn't effective, ask yourself this. Why are they working so hard to stop you from voting? Because they understand. It's up to us to understand now.
Reese?
Dr. Carr, I think what he said is not an attack on your pain. That is so key. It's not an attack on your pain. I understand, like Dr. Carr says, why people feel like black people are left out. We are left out all the time. But let's focus on the battles that we still have yet to win. We're not sitting up here comparing shit that we already got decades ago. Is it as effective as it could be? No. And neither is this new COVID-19 hate crimes bill going to be, okay? So let's focus on what's still left to do. Let's focus on putting one more tooth in that mouth, these toothless bills.
That's right.
Let's focus on who are our real enemies. There are real enemies, okay? Almost 100% of the Republican Party, we can't even get them to say 2 + 2 = 4, and y'all up on the CBC's ass every time I turn around. So let's focus on the people that are actually standing in the way of us getting our justice, of us making progress, and quit being distracted by the clickbait, being distracted by the memes, by the tweets that are miscaptioned, and the images and the headlines and the disinformation and the YouTube scholars. And let's actually educate ourselves on what the solutions are, who are the people pushing those solutions, and who are the people on the opposite side, and mobilize in that way. Because like Dr. Carr always says, the individual is not going to beat it. We have to collectively come together. And the sooner that we become a we, instead of warring factions on Twitter, we will start to make progress, period.
That's right.
Mustafa?
Black folks, we are incredibly powerful, but we deplete our power when we don't educate ourselves, when we don't understand the systems and where the leverage points are. I worked for John Conyers for 2 years. In the nighttime, at the end of the day, John would come in and he would say, who called in today? Who emailed in today? What were their concerns? Were they supporting HR 676, the universal health care bill that we were working on, and a number of other things? Did anybody call in and ask about reparations and the bills that I'm introducing to actually address that issue? You have power, but we give it away. We give it away to folks all the time. Reese shared with you. I wanted to take notes while you were talking, because if we would actually understand our power and we would continue to utilize it in this moment, the midterms is a blink away. What are you doing? How are you getting prepared? Who else are you educating to maximize that power? If you want to actually make sure you're supporting these brothers and sisters who are fighting for you. On Capitol Hill, it is a shark game that's going on up there. They need your support. The administration needs your support to push them to go as far as they possibly can. If they turn around and there's nobody pushing them, then they can't say, I got 1 million folks. So let's do this. Let's have 1 million black folks over the next week call the folks on Capitol Hill, email to folks on Capitol Hill, and as Roland said, or make sure you're stopping by, if you got your mask on, because I still think Black folks need to wear masks. You go by their district offices and just say, you know what, I just want to share with you what my expectations are of the member, and I'm going to support that member if they're moving in that direction. That's what power looks like. If you want the resources that the federal government actually has, you got to get engaged in that. These dollars that are going to flow from the federal down to the state, to the counties, and to the locals, you got to be engaged in that process. If you don't, those dollars are going to go to the folks who are engaged in the process.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have, you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it. Please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.